This was Van Jones talking to 3 black Trump voters in North Carolina. And one of them specifically talked about the issue of where he got his information from. Roland.
You do well.
And here we are in South Carolina with 3 Trump voters. You weren't always a Republican.
No. Actually, I come from a family that was like super Democratic. My first time voting, I voted Democrat. I voted for Joe Biden.
What about Trump appealed to you?
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, part of it is he's an asshole. I like authenticity.
You voted for Obama then you voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, but 2020 you voted for Donald Trump. What made the change?
I began listening to someone, her name is Candace Owens, and I read her book, and it just opened my eyes to maybe he's not this person that I have been led to believe that he was.
So you voted against Trump in 2016,
yes,
but then in 2020 you voted for him?
Absolutely.
Why?
I saw how things were going during his first term, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I was pleased with what was happening. I saw the economy getting better. I saw country relations in certain countries getting better.
What are some things that he's doing that you do like?
For me, I like the border. I just don't like the idea of someone coming here illegally and getting benefits that can serve my community. So that's the reason why I support him on that border policy.
When you think about the border, you think about people coming here who are getting more help than people who live here and who were born here.
Yeah, and I got that perspective not from news channels. I got it from social media. TikTok is like a holy grail. We even see it with the things that we learn about the United States government. Outside of the United States, people are showing Americans, hey, look at what's going on. Do y'all know that your government is doing this? Have you seen this? Have you looked at it from this perspective?
You know, people, when they think about a Trump voter, they usually think about like a white dude with like a red hat on and a pickup truck, and y'all are not that at all. So Donald Trump's team went in, they took down Harriet Tubman's picture for a quick minute. They're trying to like knock out the black museums. What does that have to do with the price of eggs, and how does that impact you?
In some ways, it's a slap in the face. In other ways, I don't care. I care more about how I'm going to take care of my children.
I don't think the average American cares about that. I know I am sick and tired of seeing black people sit there and complain about something but not taking action and steps to actually try to change things in an appropriate manner.
Under the Trump and Biden administration, they came to certain agreements with police departments to be less brutal toward the black community. Trump has now ended all that. How does that help the black community?
I have a lot of issues with police reform and just with how police officers are treated as a whole. My husband is currently going through the process to become a police officer. The amount of hatred that cops get, even the best ones, I think has become a huge problem, because it has been, especially around election times, when it definitely comes out of like, oh no, the cops are bad, the cops hate you because you're black. They're immediately deemed as evil.
This man is talking about running for a 3rd term. Now, what do you think about that?
The 3rd term, for me, absolutely not. I think it's at the end of these 4 years, it's time to move on.
This is a prime example of him trolling people, because people have said, they're like, oh, if he gets in the office, he's gonna be a dictator. He's gonna try to run for a 3rd term. So he's like, okay, y'all think I'm gonna do that? I'm gonna mess with y'all and say this just to take y'all out.
I thought you loved this man because he's so authentic and he's such a truth teller.
But you need to know the difference between somebody trolling somebody, and this is a prime example of him being a troll.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump again, yes or no?
Yes, I would. Now, in the future, I am not a diehard Democrat or diehard Republican. If there were a Democratic candidate who was more aligned for me, then I would vote Democrat.
If you go back in time, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
Yes.
I think I might know the answer on this next one.
She said yes. It's immediately yes. No, I'm sorry.
If you had to do it all over again, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
1,000% absolutely yes.
John, those are 3 of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so let me just unpack what I heard. Now I know Morgan's like, oh no, you can't go there. Actually, I can go there, because those are 3 idiots. First and foremost.
Well, I want to hear the rationale. I want to hear.
No, here's why. First of all, when the woman in red, yeah, I was listening to Candace Owens. We know she lies. We know she just lies. Well, I was listening to Candace Owens and I read her book. Okay, you're listening to a grifter. Okay, so she's not giving you factual information. She's a grifter. Then let's go to this idiot dude who needs a haircut. Okay, so he's sitting here. Yeah, TikTok is the holy grail. I'm not getting my information from news channels. I'm getting it from TikTok. Here's what we know based upon polling. People who got information from news sources voted more so for Harris because they got factual information. Folk who got their information from non-news sources, they voted for Trump. So right there, he's listening to people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Then, I kind of like it that he's an asshole. Okay. I don't know how you can run against that because if you just choose not to be an idiot, I mean, I don't know how you could do that. But then you got the other woman, I'm sick of black people who don't try to do something to fix the situation. I'm sorry. Those three were in North Carolina. I recall something called Moral Mondays. The environmental justice movement began in that state. They have been fighting fascism in North Carolina since Obama won in 2008. And then this, my husband's trying to be a cop and these bad things they say about cops. Would you like us to do the roll call of black people who have been killed by cops? Would you like for us to actually do that? I mean, so people like that, I mean, to be perfectly honest, there are some black people who I think are so delusional and so out to lunch, you're not going to reach them. I don't believe that that's who you should be going after, not those three. You're not going after them, okay? Because if you're so willing to believe lies, and then you promote the lie that you heard, and it's not even remotely factual, then how in the hell do you counter that level of stupidity?
So I can comment on this. From working on campaigns, we have a universe of voters we call persuadables. And a previous comment stated that there are some things that Democrats, liberals need to improve on. And Roland, you touched on it. Informed people voted for Kamala Harris. But here's the problem here. The majority of Americans are still not college educated, and Democrats slipped with every non-college educated demographic. Even with Black Americans, that was Trump's strongest group of Black Americans were Black people without a college degree. And so I think that part of putting out misinformation is being able to message people who might not be as educated as us, who might not understand things as easily as we do. We've got to learn how to break it down Barney style, as we used to put it in the military. We have got to explain things to the hood, explain things to the holler, explain things to people who might not get it and don't easily get it. That is going to be the key to saving democracy, because in 2024, it's a fact. No after action report shows us doing well with people without college degrees, and we've got to figure out a way to stop them from falling into the misinformation rabbit hole. We got to stop these Gen Z men. One of those guys was a Gen Z man. We got to stop these Gen Z men from falling into the misinformation rabbit hole.
But I think this is also where, Morgan, when you start breaking down, I mean, you look at the pathetic PAC, Future Forward PAC. 70% of their money was spent on linear television. That was just stupid. What people need to understand is we are now living in a social/digital first world. We are, okay? The world of Time, Newsweek, cable networks, broadcast networks, they do not, on a daily basis, on a 12-hour block basis, a 4-hour block, an hour, a 30-minute, by a minute-by-minute basis, they do not really speak to the hearts and minds. If you do not have a targeted social digital strategy where you're flooding the zone with real, truthful information that's also entertaining, you're gonna lose.
Absolutely. We've been in this digital age.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not an accident that you have someone who is Gen Z, younger people, who are mostly getting their information from TikTok. I hear that all the time when talking to young people. Why is that? Because TikTok is free, right?
Right.
And so if you're at this point trying to be a well-informed consumer of lots of information sources, well, get ready to pony up. How much money for digital subscriptions? It's going to be, I know I pay $12 to be able to read my local paper, the Columbus Dispatch. Then if you want to try to read New York Times, Wall Street Journal, all these online platforms, support Roland Martin. And
I'm pulling up TikTok right now to sit here to keep going. Because I'm gonna say something about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's free. And so absolutely agree with what you were just saying, that this is where the people are at. This is where they're going to be. This is where people who have maybe less money are going to be at. But this is also just where younger people want to be at because they like consuming information like this online. And it's not an accident, though, or it's not an inevitability, I should say, that there's only certain kinds of platforms that get traction over others, like a TikTok, or some of the way that the ad market has been structured with Google and Facebook. So here's why I push back a little bit on this is just the inevitability, or Democrats have done enough here. Is when's the last time you heard a Democrat talk about this? When's the last time you heard a Democrat talk about the market structure that has allowed local media to be decimated over the past 20 years?
But hold up.
Right?
To answer your question.
Okay.
To answer your question, and this is why it goes to what you just saw. From 2016. So if you go from Trump winning in 2016 to present day, how many times have we been inundated with, let's go to a diner? What are the Trump people thinking? To your point, even mainstream media, they ain't talking to Democrats. They're not talking to progressives. They're not saying, hey, how do you feel about what's happening right now? Everything, and again, this is where we have all of these media people, all of these media folk, they are centering Trump, and it's
by design.
And it's it's like they're really concerned, and it's because we had 6 years of economic anxiety, and I was like, that was bullshit. So what we have to also just recognize is what is also being fed to people. What's being fed? We talk about Trump and the administration on this show every day, but we're telling people what they're doing. I'm not interested in all, like, you heard that woman sit there and go, he's just trolling people about a third term. No, he's not.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing I very strongly disagree with.
See, but here's the thing, Morgan, but this is my point, though. The problem is, every time Trump said some crazy shit, people went, oh, he's not serious. Oh, okay, I know he says he's gonna be a dictator. He's not being serious. So we are now back to 2011 of playing footsie and playing games with this guy. I'm telling you, I was at CNN. And I remember one day I was on, and Heidi Phillips was the anchor, and I said, anytime Donald Trump comes on CNN, we should have a crawl at the bottom that says, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is no lie. I get an email from Ken Jouts the executive vice president at CNN, who tells me, do not criticize Donald Trump coming on our air. That night, I think Obama gave some speech, something economic speech, and Piers Morgan had Trump on his show for the whole hour, offering commentary on economics and world affairs and everything along those lines. And I remember saying, man, fuck Ken. I was like, why the hell is this dumbass on CNN? I mean, I just started tweeting. I didn't give a damn. I'm like, whatever the hell. But this is what happens. So when folk just dismiss his crazy, but his crazy then shows up as policy, then it's like, oh, I didn't think he was being serious. We told you he was being serious. And so this is why, and then people say, I remember early on, well, you know, we can't get upset with every little thing he's doing. I'm going, if you give this thug an inch, he's going to take 100 miles. And so I just think Democrats and progressives are still in this, well, what do we do? This is where you go, you throw everything. You hit them with everything. You are in media constantly. You make it this is warfare. This is information warfare. You do battle 7 days a week. You don't take a day off. That has to be their posture. Otherwise, oh, we don't see y'all saying or doing anything, so I guess what he's doing is okay.
But I do want to come back. I agree with that, Roland.
Hold up, Morgan, go ahead.
Okay, just to finish the thought, I do agree with all of that. As we've discussed, all of the constitutional violations, the complete destruction, the infrastructure of government is a huge problem and needs to be called out every single second. I think my point and what the clip was just showing us from those interviews is, but doing that alone is unlikely to be enough if the goal is to get a different kind of president in 4 years. How do we know? Because these people are saying they are not persuaded by that. And these are people that are saying they would vote in different ways. And I want to come back to especially what that guy said about how are my kids' lives improving? So in addition to the critique of all of the bad things that are happening, and this has to be the learning from 2016 over the past 8-9 years now, is what are we filling the void with? What are we saying that we Democrats,
right?
Okay, right? What's the vision? What's the plan? And if there's not as much time spent on that, then we are very likely to continue repeating the exact same pattern and lose.
I don't know who's going. Zachary or John? One of y'all want to say something? Go ahead.
I just wanted to add in, Roland. When you said that the Americans are sitting here saying what's not going to happen, or he's just joking, or it's in jest, he's trolling. You know who believed him and took him at his word? Canada. We're sitting here in America when this man talks about annexing Canada, taking over Canada, invading our neighbor to the north. We're sitting here making jokes about it, talking about red, white, and blue land for Greenland, making jokes and laughing at it, where the Canadians sat down and we completely shifted the outcomes of their most recent election to where now they have a liberal prime minister and a liberal government put in place. They took the threat of Donald Trump seriously, and we haven't done that. And when we talk about looking at these people that we just saw, that proves and highlights exactly what you just said about the media. CNN didn't come to find people from the Black Star Network for Roland Martin Unfiltered. They didn't get your viewers. They didn't go to the people when they want to talk to Black America who are really ingrained in a part of the work of Black America. They went and found people that are listening to Candace Owens. These are not lowly educated voters. These are high bullshit voters. That's what they're consuming, bullshit from Candace Owens. And that's who they platformed. CNN is the problem when it came to that right there. CNN is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, John, go ahead.
CNN is just trying to be the grown-up version of Fox News. They're like, well, you can't say it that way. We're going to present it in a more professional manner. But they do a good job of spreading misinformation by having complete bullshit on and calling it fair and balanced. So, and then they'll get mad when a Roland Martin wants to tell the truth. They get mad if any Black or liberal reporter wants to tell the truth, that's more a violation at CNN than spreading misinformation. So CNN has played a role in eroding our democracy. They just don't do it as blatantly as Fox News or Newsmax.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.